Hello everyone, this is WellArmedWithTacos, and welcome to another Stories from Sector 8 video. I played two games today. One was fantasy, one was 40k, so I will be doing those in separate videos. I'll start with the fantasy video, as you can tell by the little icon that I'm using for this. I still haven't settled on a single picture, but I think for now on it's just going to be the Age of Sigmar logo or the 40k logo. So, I played a game of fantasy today, and there isn't much to tell as there is with all my fantasy stories because my fantasy games are a little small right now. But this is my first victory story in fantasy. I played my Seraphon, and I played against... I don't know the name of the army, I think it's called Undeath. They're forces from Grand Alliance Death, and I think they're called like Undeath or something like that. Basically, zombies and stuff like that. I brought with me, my Skink Star Priest, my 24 Skinks, my 12 Saurus Guard, my 8 Saurus Knights, and that's it. He brought ghouls, skeletons. He brought one thing that was like a man-bat creature that I don't know the name of, and he brought bigger ghouls that I don't know the name of. I don't know the name of the units, I'm sorry. Not very descriptive, I know. We played a scenario like in the last video I did. This was a different player, but he also picked a scenario, and this scenario was much more balanced than the last scenario. This scenario is both players from whatever factions they want, really, pick a variety of monsters and put them off to the side. So my Carnosaur and my Bastillodon were on the side, and he had some like King Ghoul on giant bat thing that he put on the side. So it was two of my monsters and one of his monsters, and you put them off on the side, and starting on turn 2 they come onto the board, and every turn both players roll off to see which side the monsters currently work for. So I know I brought 2 and he brought 1, but all 3 of them work for one individual each turn. And there's modifiers for the roll, where if you are within 3 inches of them, which is melee range, but you haven't attacked them, and you can choose not to attack them in this scenario, you get +2 to your roll. If you hurt one, you're -1 to your roll, and if you kill one, you're -2 to your roll. So basically, if you don't touch them, if you let them beat on you, your roll gets better because I guess you're better able to diplomatize since you haven't been killing them. So the first roll is just straight roll. Whoever gets it, like just you roll, and whoever rolls more gets it. I rolled more, so for the first turn, the second turn. At the start of the second turn, the 3 monsters became mine. But first turn, he got to go first. He got initiative. He moved forward with everybody, and that was it, because he didn't have any shooting. And it's worth noting that my general was the one on the Carnosaur, and his general was the one on the big bat. So under the scenario we had, neither of us had our actual generals. We just had the generic. We had to elect a person as our generic general. So neither of us had our ideal generals. So he moved forward his turn 1. My turn 1, my 8 knights charged his 3 big ghouls who were like 4 wounds, whatever, and my skinks charged them as well. And my skinks moved around in a certain way that they also locked themselves in combat with the man-bat creature, the little man-bat creature that he had. My guard moved forward, and my Star Priest was just hanging around doing stuff. My 8 knights immediately just wiped his 3 ghouls. I was rolling hot, and I kicked their butts. Oh, before I keep going, I also need to explain, in this particular game we played, under the scenario rules as well, as in addition to the whole monster ban thing, one player is an attacker and the other player is a defender. I was the defender, and I had to defend a piece of terrain on the board that was like a gate, and it was like basically like, don't let them storm the front gate, you know what I mean? I had to protect that gate, and if the gate gets destroyed, he immediately wins. So I have to protect my gate. Anyways, my 8 knights charge, kill his 3 ghouls, his big ghouls. His man bat charges in and drops, I think, like 10 of the skinks. Like, I'm serious. Like, I think 10 of the skinks out of 24 just drop dead. And then my skinks run. My skinks have an ability called Wary Fires, where they're allowed to run away from combat. So they did. They ran. They got out of there. They hightailed it out. They were done. They were gone, you know? Because they didn't want a part of that anymore. So they ran, and when they ran, I was no longer in combat with his big ghoul, because my knights were out of range of it. So that combat was over. His turn 2 comes, and I get the monsters, but he gets to go first. He moves his ghoul around my knights to go back into the skinks. And the guard, the Saurus guard, okay, he gets initiative on the second turn. His big man bat circles around, attacks my skinks. And his ghouls charge, like the smaller ghouls he had, charge into my knights. This is still on his turn. The big man bat kills a bunch more skinks. There's only like 6 or something left. And the ghouls charge into my knights and kill quite a few of my knights. I got my skink attacks and did 1 wound to him, which immediately healed. He healed because the man bat heals when it kills things. And my knights started picking off the ghouls. My turn 2 comes around, where it's actually my movement phase and those shenanigans. Because the monsters come in on a table edge, they weren't near the action. So they weren't really doing anything. His big Ghoul King on the big bat, the big undead bat dragon, I had it move forward and charge his unit of skeletons. My Carnosaur moved forward and didn't do anything else, and my Bastiladon moved forward and shot the man bat and didn't do a lot. My guard moved forward and charged the man bat and killed the man bat. So the man bat's dead. The big Ghoul King charges the skeletons, because it's under my control this turn, and whiffs. It barely does anything to the skeletons, who on their turn roll a d6 and bring back a total of 6 skeletons. And it's like, I think I killed 2 of them, but like 2 of them didn't come back. Like, I did basically nothing to it. And my knights continued to pick down on the ghouls. My Star Priest, because of the way he moved, also is now in combat with the ghouls as well. The next turn comes around, and he gets to go first again, and he takes the monsters this turn, because he was at a +2 bonus, because I was in combat with his giant thing, and he opted for his skeletons not to attack, so he's able to go first. Or he's able to get the monsters this turn. He has my Carnosaur, which is technically not my Carnosaur this game, assault the gates. And this is where things start going wrong. It's all of it. It does all of its attacks, and it does 4 wounds to the gate. And that's with a lot of whiffs, and just does 4 wounds to the gate, which only has 8 wounds. His man bat charges into my skink and my guard and kills all the guard, and didn't have enough attacks left over to kill all the skinks. So all my guard are dead, and his skeletons move over and charge into the remainder of my knights and the Star Priest. The thing about this particular game is the victory of this game came down to a single die roll, which was the start of the next round. On the next die roll, on the next round, it was a straight die roll to see who would gain control of the monsters again. All me and him had left on the table, respectively, was I had my Star Priest, and I had my 3 knights out of 8, and he had 0 ghouls by this point, and all he had left was his skeletons. So I had 4 dudes, and he had 12 skeletons. So we ourselves didn't have that much, and it was an even die roll to see who gets control of the monsters. He did kill the skinks. He did eventually kill the skinks with the monster he controlled that turn. So he killed the skinks, and when it came time to decide who got to control the monsters that turn, it was basically an even die roll to see who wins the game. Because if he had gotten it, he has the Carnosaur actively attacking the building, and he would have at least the Ghoul King on the giant bat dragon that would be able to charge as well. There's no way I could protect it. He would have won the game by destroying it. If I had rolled off and gotten it, I would be able to use the 3 monsters to clear the rest of his skeletons. It came down to a straight die roll. Basically, that was how the game was settled, and I won it. So I got the three monsters for another turn, and I was able to use them to kill his 12 or whatever skeletons that were left. And that's basically how it went down. It was very close. The win literally came down to a single die roll. We just had to roll off. That's really what determined this game. That's really all I have to say about that one. It was my first Age of Sigmar win, so yay! But it was very, very close. Literally a die roll. Literally a die roll. Alright, thank you for listening, and coming up after this one will be a 40k themed video, which I should have more to talk about. We'll see. Alright, thank you for listening.